This is your News Source Evening Bulletin for today, Monday, the 26th day of October in the year 2020. I'm Gordon Mosley. Here is what we're tracking tonight. President Irfan Ali, while admitting that he has not seen a copy of the Certificate of Renunciation of U.S. citizenship for his tourism minister, indicated today that he is comfortable with her explanation on the issue.
I don't have to ask Minister Onage for a copy of her certificate.
Are you comfortable?
I am very comfortable that Minister Onage did what she had to do. Very comfortable. Minister Onage is an honorable woman. And before she was sworn in, she came and she advised the president of her dual citizenship, and she advised the president that she did what had to be done in accordance with the Constitution. And I can tell you that she did it, and she has her certificate, and she has advised me that she has her certificate. And Minister Onage Waldron is an honorable woman.
When questioned on whether she has provided a copy of her renunciation certificate to the clerk of the National Assembly, like the other former dual citizens did, the president said he's unaware of that.
No, I have not checked on that, but what I can tell you is that I have no doubt that she would have communicated to the clerk and the speaker and would have demonstrated to them exactly what I'm telling you. Minister Onage has nothing to hide. She's not in the category of those who went to an election on a slate and they did not denounce their citizenship. She's an honorable woman.
Tourism Minister Onage Waldron, in a statement over the weekend, admitted that she was still a U.S. citizen when she took up the post of Minister of Tourism Industry and Commerce back in August. She claimed that she started the renunciation process and that it has been completed. Minister Waldron was sworn in as a Member of Parliament in early September. In her statement, she never provided a date for the completion of her renunciation, and she also did not provide any detail about when the actual renunciation certificate was issued. The opposition APNU-AFC has called on her to resign since, according to the coalition, it is clear that she was a dual citizen when she took up the posts of government minister and member of parliament. The opposition APNU-AFC coalition has pointed out that a person's dual citizenship comes to an end at the time of the dated renunciation certificate, not at the time when one decides to embark on the process. The coalition said it is very clear from Waldron's own statement that at the time she became a minister and was sworn in as a member of parliament, she was still a citizen of the United States. APNU-AFC Member of Parliament and Shadow Attorney General Senior Counsel Roysdale Ford also dismissed the contention that because Waldron is a non-elected member of the National Assembly, the same rules governing elected members may not be applicable to her.
So the issue of being a dual citizen and the impact of its disqualification, as specifically provided in the Constitution, excludes Ms. Waldron. By her own statements and by her own press release, I believe it was a press release, she has indicated and said to the world that she was not qualified. Now, when we look at what the law says, she's definitely not qualified. And that would be the basis for us instituting proceedings. And it would also be the basis for Ms. Waldron doing the right and proper thing, which is to resign as a member of the National Assembly.
The APNU-AFC has indicated that it will move to the courts if Waldron does not resign from the position. The issue of dual citizenship and members of the National Assembly and the Constitution's clear provision on the issue was ventilated in the courts following the 2018 vote of no confidence against the APNU-AFC government. In one of her rulings, the Chief Justice made it clear based on the Constitution that dual citizens are not eligible to be members of Parliament. 4 APNU-AFC government ministers were forced to resign following that ruling. More news coming up in just a moment. Mobil Special and all other Mobil lubricants are distributed by Sol Guyana Inc. Mobil Special and all other Mobil lubricants are distributed by Sol Guyana Inc.
The glorious days of shopping are back at Ravinas on Water Street and Anand's on Regent Street. Now in stock are over 20 beautiful designs of vinyl and over a dozen gorgeous designs in rubber tile for your homes, offices, or work. We have over 16 attractive colors of leatherette for covering furniture. For fast and comfortable shopping, visit us to get the best prices in town. That's Ravinas on Water Street and Anand's on Regent Street.
The government of Guyana is committed to a comprehensive and inclusive housing development program for the benefit of all Guyanese. This is evident from its actions to date. However, the previous administration did absolutely nothing to identify alternative lands to house the persons squatting on state-owned lands on the east coast of Demerara. This illegal act was politically motivated, and poor and vulnerable individuals and families are being callously exploited for political purpose and private profiteering. Those lands have been identified for immediate and substantial cane cultivation by the Guyana Sugar Corporation. The information collected shows many of the squatters have proven to be homeowners, and yet the government has made every effort to engage the squatters and seek an amicable solution. Persons are being reminded that it is a criminal offense to illegally occupy state-owned land. The government cannot and will not allow squatting to be used as a means of acquiring land for housing. The government's offer to provide immediate, safe, temporary alternative accommodation to those persons in need remains in place.
We all know a strong educational foundation is a key to successful learning. Global technology combines award-winning curriculum with innovative technology and teacher support to help students reach their potential. Our online platform creates an engaging learning experience. Using any device, you can be a part of amazing class discussions, collaborate with others, and have access to virtual learning software. With our multiple payment methods, you will never have to leave home. Find out how global technology can allow you to learn anything, anywhere, at any time.
Been through it all.
But as a people we have
weathered every storm
And risen to every challenge.
Because it is the people of Guyana
that gives it its strength.
all the people,
regardless of race,
class, or religion.
We
are one people, one strength.
And now is our time. A time to rise. Together, we rise.
For all the Zoom hashouts and recipe tryouts, the world changed and we were right there, standing with you, always near, getting closer in so many ways, laughing together as we face these days. And because we are Caribbean, we've got a special insight that tells us there's no need to worry, world. We'll be all right.
Mobil Special and all other Mobil lubricants are distributed by Sol Guyana Inc. Mobil Special and all other Mobil lubricants are distributed by Sol Guyana Inc. Welcome back. Let's tell you now that regional chairmen and their deputies from 9 of the 10 administrative regions were officially sworn into office this morning before President Air Finale. The president has promised to ensure resources are made available to the regions to aid in their development. Many of the regions have found themselves taking on additional responsibilities in the wake of the COVID-19 pandemic. The chairmen for Regions 1, 4, and 10 spoke with the media about some of their plans moving forward and the support they are hoping for.
We've worked with the Ministry of Amerindian Affairs to ensure the Amerindian communities are looked at and to ensure that their village development plans are realized, because what we would have asked the level of the RDC is for every village to provide to us a 10-year development plan that they would want to see their village implement for the people. And so our focus right now is listening to the people, gathering the information of the people's needs and their issues, and ensuring that they are addressed in a timely manner with the support of the central government.
Plans of Region 4,
first we'll be hitting would be the COVID-19 pandemic. We're going to work along with the Ministry of Health, Ministry of Local Government, the police, and also the National COVID Task Force to ensure that the measures that are currently being flouted are enforced within the areas. We are also working towards national unity. As you know, that we still have some issues in and around the country, so we're going to ensure that those issues don't come to Region 4.
Well, it is my hope that just as what has happened over the past 5 years, that we will continue to build upon the successes of the past, to continue to implement programs and initiatives that speak directly to the development of our people. My vision is one which is to bring our people together, consolidate and strengthen them from within their communities. And we intend to do that through training, through job creation, through education, through agriculture.
The new regional councils have all indicated that they intend to work closer with the communities within their regions and to also work closely with the central government. There is a cloud over whether local government elections will take place in Guyana next year, as is required by the Constitution. Over the weekend, the Attorney General said it is appearing unlikely that a timetable will be kept because of all the fallout after the general elections and the charges currently facing a number of GECOM officials in the courts. Today, President Irfan Ali said he believes GECOM will have to get its house in order and the commission will have to be fixed completely before there could be talk about hosting local government elections soon. Speaking to reporters, the president said there are issues facing the commission and its management, and those issues must be addressed first.
What we have to do is to fix what is there first. We have to ensure that we have a system that is working, a system that we can trust, a system that is professional, a system that operates in an unbiased manner so that the people of our country can have confidence.
Under the last PPP civic government, local government elections were not held for 2 decades, although they are due every 2 years. It was under the coalition government in 2016 that local government elections returned. The president said he has received letters from stakeholders who have expressed concern about the state of the Elections Commission and them not wanting to go through a process like the one which existed after the last elections, where the results came 5 months after, owing to a recount in several court cases. Last week, the coalition said the Guyana Elections Commission needs to start preparing itself for house-to-house registration and the production of a clean voters list. This evening, there is still that call for the Director of Public Prosecutions to revoke her appointment of PPP Member of Parliament Sanjeev Tatadin as the lead prosecutor in the front cases against GECOM officials. Attorney at law Nigel Hughes is holding firm to his position and has since written to the DPP on the issue. He is contending that Tatadin should not sit as a special prosecutor in the election matters, which he said are bound to be political. Tatadin and 5 other attorneys were last week granted authorization by the DPP to serve as prosecutors in the police cases against Chief Election Officer Keith Lowenfield and Deputy Chief Election Officer Roxanne Myers. The position of Mr. Hughes is that as a sitting member of Parliament for the PPP and as someone who has made various public statements on the officials before the court, Tatadin cannot be expected to act in a fair manner as a prosecutor. In his letter, the attorney Nigel Hughes reminded the DPP of the rules and regulations of the Legal Practitioners Amendment Act and its reference to attorneys being appointed to serve as prosecutors. The DPP last week removed the private criminal charges that were filed against the Chief Election Officer in the matters, but kept the police charges in place. With the liberalization of the telecommunications sector and more companies expected into the market, the Public Utilities Commission is moving to add more expertise and monitors to closely monitor and overlook the operations of all of the companies. During a virtual town hall meeting on Facebook this morning, PUC Chairperson Attorney Della Britton explained that since the legislation for the liberalization of the sector was finalized, the PUC started its preparations for the additional workload.
We have been preparing since these draft documents have been published, and so PUC is now tweaking how we will now approach the onslaught, and we are in the process also of bolstering our monitoring unit, where the the actual oversight, and oversight is one of our main mandates.
It was also explained that with a liberalized sector, the PUC will play less of a role in rate setting. However, it will have some responsibilities to ensure there is no predatory pricing.
As with liberalization now, it will be a different rate setting. The Telecoms Act provide that the operators in the telecommunications sector, they can set the rates based on the theory of supply and demand.
Since the government signed off on the liberalization of the sector 2 weeks ago, the major players in data and mobile services have started to jostle each other with price cuts and improved plans. The government has indicated that a number of other companies could soon enter the market. Guyana recorded 2 new cases of coronavirus as of last evening, according to the Ministry of Health. 29 new cases were recorded the day before, with most of those new cases coming from Region 4. This past weekend also, the country recorded 2 more deaths. The Ministry of Health has also announced that a total of 3,009 persons have made full recoveries from coronavirus in the country. The total number of cases has now surpassed 4,000. Citizens are being encouraged to wear those face masks while out in public and to practice physical distancing and keep their hands sanitized. 5 persons were left homeless after a fire gutted a wooden house on Norton Street in Georgetown on Sunday afternoon. The cause of the blaze was not immediately determined, but one of the persons who lived in the house explained that it appeared as though the fire started in one of the bedrooms and quickly engulfed the entire home within minutes.
Well, I was sitting in the yard downstairs about to soak down some clothes to do some washing as the laundry as the weekend. And when I raised my head, I hear a power. When I raised my head, I saw fire and I started shouting for my sibling. And by the time they ran out, the flames just blazed. They couldn't save anything.
While being unable to save the wooden house, the fire service managed to contain the blaze to the one property, saving the nearby houses. A full investigation is underway tonight. On the police blotter, police investigators on the west bank of the Marara are probing the brutal murder of an 86-year-old Lagrange woman in her own home. The elderly woman has been identified as Bibi Ramjet of Lagrange Old Road. Her lifeless body was found on Sunday afternoon by a farmer who visited her grocery shop and became suspicious when he called out to her repeatedly and got no answer. When the farmer noticed the back door to the upper flat of the house wide open, he ventured into the house and found the elderly woman's body on the bed with her feet and hands tied. He raised an alarm and alerted the police. She was pronounced dead at the West Marara Hospital. A post-mortem examination is to be carried out sooner. Neighbors are mourning her loss.
Well, Aunt Bibi is a quiet person. I mean, she's a big woman. She got her little business, you know. Respected by everybody in the neighborhood, you know. Yeah, everybody respects her. Everybody, you know, is going to buy from her and everything and so.
The police said a number of persons in the area were questioned, but no useful information was obtained. The investigation is ongoing tonight. Across the region is coming up next. Mobile Delvac and all other mobile lubricants are distributed by Sol Guyana Inc. Mobile Delvac and all other mobile lubricants are distributed by Sol Guyana Inc.
Christmas season is here once again, and we encourage everybody to be safe. Between October 23rd and December 31st, buy your groceries and fuel from Falls, and you can win a Christmas hamper every week or your fuel purchase free. Just spend $3,000, complete the coupon, drop it in the box, and then listen for your name. And to make it even better, you can win a bumper hamper on Christmas Eve day. Yes, our prices are great, the environment is safe, and everyone wins when you shop in the Falls Christmas promotion, Land of Canaan.
Been through it all.
But as a people we have
Weathered every storm.
And risen to every challenge.
Because it is the people of Guyana
That gives it its strength.
all the people,
Regardless of race,
class or religion.
we are one people, one strength.
And now is our time. A time to rise. Together, we rise.
Mobile Delvac and all other mobile lubricants are distributed by Salt Guyana Inc. Mobile Delvac and all other mobile lubricants are distributed by Salt Guyana Inc. Across the region right now, the U.S. has fired a shot across the bow of the Jamaican government in relation to the installation of 5th generation 5G mobile technology infrastructure, saying that any decision to engage China or a Chinese firm poses several risks to the island, particularly to the island's financial sector. America's top diplomat in Jamaica, Ambassador Donald Tapia, made Washington's position known in an exclusive interview with the Sunday Observer. While advancing his preference that Jamaica goes with other models of 5G architecture, the ambassador made the point that the island's financial sector would be hit hard if the government engages 5G technology from a Chinese source. Making it clear that his problem with China rests with the totalitarian nature of its government, the ambassador said his country has national security concerns with 5G technology developed by Chinese companies such as Huawei and ZTE. While there have been jubilant scenes in Chile after an overwhelming majority voted in support of rewriting the country's constitution, which dates to the military rule of General Augusto Pinochet. With almost all the ballots counted, 78% voted yes in a referendum that was called after mass protests against inequality. The Chilean president praised the peaceful vote. He said it was the beginning of a path that the country must all walk together. He agreed in November last year to hold a referendum after a month of huge and almost daily protests across the country, which saw more than 1 million people take to the streets in the capital of Santiago. The protests, which had originally been triggered by a fare hike on the Santiago metro, drew a wide variety of Chileans who shared an anger about the high levels of inequality in Chile on the streets. One of their key demands was to reform the old dictatorship constitution, which they argued entrenched inequalities by putting the private sector in control of health, education, housing, and pensions. And finally tonight, international news. Turkish President Recep Erdogan has called on Turks to boycott French goods amid a row over France's tougher stance on radical Islam. In a televised speech, he urged world leaders to protect Muslims if there is oppression against Muslims in France. Mr. Erdogan has angrily criticized the French President Emmanuel Macron for pledging to defend secularism against radical Islam. It comes after a teacher was killed for showing Prophet Muhammad cartoons. And that's your News Source Evening Bulletin for tonight. Gordon Mosley reporting.